Imagine paying $17 billion for something invisible that floats in space, and having it potentially reshape how every American connects to the internet forever. That's exactly what Elon Musk's SpaceX just accomplished in a groundbreaking deal that has both Wall Street and Washington buzzing with excitement and concern. On Monday, September 8th, SpaceX announced its acquisition of wireless spectrum licenses from EchoStar in what industry experts are calling one of the most strategically ambitious moves in telecommunications history. But here's where it gets controversial. This isn't just about better cell phone service. This deal could fundamentally alter the balance of power in American telecommunications, potentially making traditional cell towers as obsolete as payphones. Let's break down what just happened in terms anyone can understand. Think of wireless spectrum as invisible highways in the sky that carry data between your phone and the internet. Different companies own different lanes on these highways, and SpaceX just bought a massive superhighway system that will connect directly to their constellation of satellites orbiting above us. The transaction involves SpaceX paying up to $8.5 billion in cash and issuing another $8.5 billion in company stock to EchoStar. But that's not all. In a move that shows just how badly SpaceX wanted this deal, they've also agreed to shoulder approximately $2 billion of EchoStar's debt interest payments through late 2027. When a company is willing to take on someone else's debt, you know they see incredible value in what they're acquiring. For everyday consumers, this deal promises to deliver something that sounds almost too good to be true: the end of cellular dead zones. Gwynne Shotwell, SpaceX's president and chief operating officer, boldly declared that this acquisition will help the company end mobile dead zones around the world. She explained that with exclusive spectrum ownership, SpaceX can develop next-generation Starlink direct-to-cell satellites that will represent a step change in performance, tech industry speak, for a massive leap forward rather than gradual improvement. But let's address the elephant in the room that most coverage is missing. The timing of this deal raises eyebrows. EchoStar has been under intense scrutiny from the Federal Communications Commission, with regulators questioning whether the company was properly utilizing its valuable spectrum licenses and meeting its obligations to deploy 5G infrastructure across the country. Some industry observers are wondering, is this a rescue operation disguised as an acquisition? The market certainly seems to think EchoStar got the better end of this bargain. EchoStar's stock price surged an impressive 19% in early trading following the announcement, while traditional wireless carriers took a beating. AT&T Mobile shares dropped more than 3% and Verizon fell over 2%. These stock movements tell a story about investor expectations. They believe SpaceX is about to eat into the established players' lunch. To understand why this deal matters so much, consider these staggering numbers. Americans consumed a record-breaking 132 trillion megabytes of mobile data in 2024 alone. That's a 35% increase over the previous all-time record. This explosive growth in data consumption is pushing traditional cellular networks to their breaking point, creating an opportunity for satellite-based solutions to fill the gaps. SpaceX has been methodically building toward this moment since 2020, launching more than 8,000 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit. Roughly 600 of these satellites, which SpaceX cleverly markets as cell towers in space, have been launched since January 2024 specifically for their direct-to-cell network. These specialized satellites orbit closer to Earth than the rest of the Starlink constellation, enabling them to communicate directly with standard smartphones without requiring any special equipment or apps. And this is the part most people miss. The success of this entire venture hinges on Starship, SpaceX's massive next-generation rocket that has been in development for nearly a decade. The larger, more powerful satellites that will utilize this newly acquired spectrum are too big for SpaceX's current Falcon 9 rockets. They need Starship's enormous cargo capacity to reach orbit. Industry insiders expect Starship's first operational Starlink missions to begin early next year, making the timing of this spectrum acquisition particularly strategic. The political dimensions of this deal add another layer of intrigue. Former President Donald Trump had previously urged EchoStar and FCC Chair Brendan Carr to reach an amicable deal regarding the company's wireless spectrum licenses. Now that such a deal has materialized, it's worth asking whether political pressure played a role in pushing these negotiations forward. For EchoStar, this transaction provides a lifeline that allows them to resolve their regulatory troubles while maintaining their core businesses. The company will continue operating Dish TV, their streaming platform Sling, internet service Hughes, and the Boost Mobile brand. In fact, Boost Mobile subscribers will gain a significant advantage. They'll have access to Starlink's direct-to-cell service, extending satellite connectivity to areas where traditional cellular service simply doesn't exist. The Federal Communications Commission seems enthusiastic about these developments. An FCC spokesperson stated that the deals EchoStar has reached with both AT&T and SpaceX hold the potential to supercharge competition, extend innovative new services to millions of Americans, and boost U.S. leadership in next-gen connectivity. That's regulatory speak, for we think this is going to be awesome. However, let's examine the potential downsides that cheerleaders for this deal aren't discussing. SpaceX's aggressive expansion into telecommunications could create concerning market concentration. When one company controls both the satellite infrastructure and the spectrum licenses, they wield enormous power over American communications. Is this the kind of consolidation we should be celebrating? Or should we be worried about putting too many eggs in Elon Musk's basket? The technical challenges ahead are also formidable. While SpaceX claims their upgraded satellites will expand network capacity by more than 100 times, delivering on such ambitious promises requires flawless execution of incredibly complex technology. Satellite-to-phone communication involves split-second timing, precise orbital mechanics, and seamless handoffs between satellites as they race across the sky at 17,000 miles per hour. One software glitch or hardware failure could leave millions of users without service. This deal also puts SpaceX in direct competition with traditional wireless carriers in a way they've never been before. Previously, SpaceX partnered with companies like T-Mobile to provide satellite connectivity. Now, with their own spectrum licenses, they can operate independently. This shift from collaboration to competition could strain relationships with carriers who might have otherwise been allies. The broader implications for American infrastructure are staggering. If SpaceX succeeds in delivering reliable satellite-based cellular service nationwide, it could reduce our dependence on vulnerable ground-based cell towers. In an era of increasing natural disasters and potential security threats, having a backup communication system in space offers genuine national security benefits. Yet this same capability raises privacy and control concerns. When one private company can potentially monitor and control a significant portion of American communications, questions about data security, government access, and corporate accountability become paramount. Looking ahead, this deal positions SpaceX to compete not just with traditional carriers, but potentially with internet service providers, emergency communication systems, and even government communication networks. The company that started by launching rockets could end up controlling how Americans connect to each other and the world. The success or failure of this venture will likely determine whether satellite-based cellular service becomes mainstream or remains a niche solution for remote areas. Other companies, including Amazon's Project Kuiper and various international satellite operators, are watching closely to see if SpaceX can make the economics work at scale. So here's the million-dollar question, or should I say the $17 billion question. Are we witnessing the birth of a telecommunications revolution that will benefit everyone? Or are we watching one company accumulate too much control over critical American infrastructure? What do you think? Is Elon Musk's latest venture a brilliant solution to America's connectivity problems? Or are we trading our dependence on traditional telecom giants for dependence on a single space company? Should we be celebrating this deal as innovation at its finest? Or should we be concerned about the concentration of power in one person's hands? The future of how Americans communicate might depend on how we answer these questions.